Hi, everybody. Welcome back to She Does the Podcast. I'm Gina Joyce.
Laura Moose.
And today we have the wonderful Clare Shirley with us from Sawbill Canoe Outfitters.
Yay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So you're in the book and you're on the podcast, but tell everybody watching a bit about what you do at Sawbill Canoe Outfitters.
Yeah, so I run Sawbill Canoe Outfitters, which is a Boundary Waters outfitter at the end of the Sawbill Trail. It's a family business. This is actually our 70th year in business this year, the 2026 season. So that's very exciting for us. My grandparents founded it in the 50s, and then my folks ran it after that. It was my dad's parents, and then Dan and I bought it in 2016. So we've been doing it for 10 years, which is crazy. So we set folks up to go on Boundary Waters trips, canoe trips, and that's
You need to have like double
do.
anniversary parties this summer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And share a little bit. I mean, we know your story, but for those who maybe don't know you, obviously it's a family business. You're third generation, which is incredible. But you actually had a career outside of this before you and Dan came back and bought the business. Tell a little bit about what you were doing and like what it was like to transition back into the family business.
Yeah, so I grew up in Cook County. I grew up at Sawbill. Graduated from Cook County High School up here, and then, like a lot of Cook County graduates, like very quickly left Cook County as quickly as I could.
Yeah.
And I went to the University of Montana in Missoula, and then I basically lived in Missoula for 10 years after that, and that's where I met Dan. Mm-hmm. So I did my undergrad there, took a couple of years off, and then ended up going back to law school, which was great, and had a very brief but exciting legal career in Missoula. And while that was all kind of going on, my parents had let my siblings and I know that they didn't want to run Sawbill forever. Mm-hmm. And they gave us sort of a 10-year, like,
Fair.
Hey guys, we maybe want to actually retire someday. We're not going to do this till we're 80. So that was always kind of kicking around in the back of my head. But didn't really come to the forefront until Dan and I got serious and decided that we wanted to start a family, and just started looking at what do we want our lives to look like. And so he was working as a chemist for a biotech startup in Missoula, and he did that for about 7 years. I was working in the federal court system, which was great. We had great careers and great jobs.
It's amazing.
And we did it for long enough to know sort of like, this is what this is going to look like, right? Like, this is what these careers are. This is what the time commitment is like. This is what we're signing up for if we keep going down this track.
Right.
And then, we just had this opportunity to take over Sawbill. My siblings weren't interested. Yeah. And it was people thought we were crazy. A lot of lawyers tried to talk me out of it. And they were like, they were literally like, you can't do that. You can't leave this career that you just started and worked so hard for. And I was like, I actually think I can though.
Yeah. Here I go.
Yeah. And it was great. I mean, that was like 10 years ago. No regrets, right? Like, it's been fantastic. But I think it was really important for me, especially, to have that perspective.
Yeah.
And I call those 10 years in Missoula sort of my like prove it years. Like, I was really held in Cook County growing up here, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But everybody knows you. You don't have to explain yourself ever. Everybody's watching out for you and taking care of you. And I really needed those 10 years to sort of like prove it. I needed to prove it to myself that I could, like, quote unquote, make it.
Sure.
I needed to prove like who I was outside of a community where everybody already knows you.
That's a really good perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, I really value that experience now, and it's really nice. And it's nice to know. It's nice to know like I could do that. I could go do that again.
Yeah.
But I'm choosing a different path.
I think it's amazing.
Great.
Yeah, because we did not grow up here.
Yeah.
And so we kind of had your 10-year experience like the first 30 years, 30 plus years of life. And then we come to Cook County and it's like, I feel, like you said, I feel held now. Yeah. And it's like amazing feeling. But I understand like wanting to have that full breadth experience and what a gift to be able to come back and do what you're doing now too.
Yeah.
And to have done both.
Yes, it's interesting to have different perspective on things. Something that I am curious about, because I don't do this, my husband owns a grocery store, but I am not with him. I don't run the business with him. And, many of you run the outfitters with your husbands or different businesses like Jess and Tyler Dean. How does it feel like to work with your husband? Also, what are your duties? Do you guys have like divided responsibilities? Do you both share? What is it like for you?
Yeah, it's great. I like it. We're a really good team, and I like him. I like him. And
That's
I
a
love
good
him,
start.
It's fun to be around each other a lot. And we are, frankly, in the summertime, we are so busy. We are often sort of like ships passing in the night. Like, we're around each other a lot, but we're like,
it's like, hi,
dividing
bye.
and conquering, doing different things.
Yeah.
But Early on, we did both do everything, like when we first took over the business, because we both wanted to have a good working knowledge of like all the systems and all the things. He had worked there for one season previously as an employee. I obviously grew up working there. Owning it is like kind of a different ball of wax. So we both had a lot to learn, and we both did all of everything. As the years have gone on, we have sort of like settled into different roles where it's like he does all the payroll stuff. Like, could I do it? Sure. Do I need to sit next to him and do it? Like, no, I don't. So I don't anymore. And so we've kind of naturally fallen into things that we are both better at. He's a really good like big picture planner. He's got a good like, 2-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan for like bigger projects and how we need to plan for those. And I'm much more of a like day to day, what do we need to happen this week, this hour, this day to make things flow smoothly with our staff.
Those two really complement each other. Like, that's a really good mix for any business.
Yeah. And it's nice because it's been able to happen very like organically.
Yeah.
We didn't have to sit down and say like, I'm doing this and you're doing that. It's just sort of like has shaken out that way. And we check in with each other a lot. And if one of us is really busy, we take things off each other's plate. And
sure.
Yeah.
I like that.
You also mentioned though, for your team, not just you and Dan, but everybody, you have a really awesome, unique system that is kind of custom to your business. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Sawbill's great. It's a totally unique and weird place to work, but people really like it. And so back in the like 70s, my dad had this idea of sort of after reading some like B.F. Skinner and some other like philosophers and things, and he thought, what if we could run this business like sort of a utopia where everybody has a say in what they do, and it's much more of like a collective and collaborative experience. And so he had this concept. He pitched it to my grandma, and she was like, this will never work. And he said, we should try it for a week. Let's just try it for 1 week and see how it goes. And she was like, that's a terrible idea. Nothing will ever work if you try it for 1 week. We have to do it for a whole season and see and like really give it a go. Let's let's try it. Yeah, totally. Which is great. She was like, of course, if we do it for 1 week, it's for sure going to fail.
Yeah,
like nothing works after 1 week. So
I like your grandma's advice. We can touch on her quote later, but yeah.
So she was like, let's do it for a whole season and see what happens. And we've been doing it ever since. So it's basically all of the tasks that it takes to run Sawbill are broken out into individual line items. So everything from like taking out the trash to driving somebody to another entry point to cooking lunch for the rest of the crew. All of these things are separate tasks. And at the beginning of every work week, everybody at Sawbill, Dan and I included, and all of our staff, we vote, like ranked choice voting on what jobs you want to do for the upcoming week. So if you don't want to do a job, you just don't vote on it. If you want to do it a lot, you put more votes on it. And then it used to be pen and paper, and there's been a series of ways that it's been done, but Dan and I have now developed a software. It's like a web-based app.
Awesome.
That we plug all the votes into. There's an algorithm that is basically like ranked choice voting. And so if you vote the most on a job, you win it for the upcoming week.
That's really fun.
Yeah, and the jobs are all weighted based on how long it takes to do them and popularity. So everybody's, as we call it, work credit. So the jobs are each assigned an amount of credits, which is loosely tied to how long it takes to do them. And so everybody's working the same number of credits every week, even though you're working different jobs. So then it prints out a blank schedule, and then it gives you the list of all the tasks that you won that week, which is always fun and exciting. Everybody's always like standing around the printer waiting for the schedules to come out to see like who outvoted you or whatever. And then we all sit down together around a big circular table, and we like set our schedules for the week, and we divvy things up. So there's a lot of personal responsibility. It takes all the hierarchy out of it. I'm not micromanaging my staff saying like, you're driving this week, you're cleaning cook kits, you're whatever. They get to choose. So it works for like a wide variety of personality types.
Right.
It takes all kinds to run Sawbill. If you're a morning person, you can schedule yourself for all morning hours.
Yeah.
If you want to like sleep until noon, like that's fine. I don't care. Do that. And then you can schedule yourself in the evenings. And I'm not scheduling
It's so
anyone.
genius. I feel like you literally could develop that. Like you could make that available for other businesses because the amount of buy-in you're getting from everybody and like fairness and maybe you do a job 1 week and you're like, I really hate this job, this piece.
Then never do it again.
Then you don't have to sign up for it again. Like that's, I think that's so smart.
Or if you're the kind of person that wants to try something new every week, like, that's great. If you want to get really good at a few things and just do those repeatedly, like you can also do that. That's all fair game. So we've pitched it to other business owners and been like, people love this. Yeah. It takes so much work off of my plate.
Have they used it or taken?
No, nobody is interested because they can't let go of the control piece where it's like somebody said to me once, like, well, what if somebody votes on cabin cleaning, but they're not a very good cabin cleaner? And I was like, they will get better.
Yeah.
They will learn. You
Practice.
will teach them. They will
Right.
become a better. But you're right. Sometimes your best cabin cleaner doesn't clean cabins for a week or whatever, you know. So you have to give a little bit of that up, but it is totally worth it.
Well,
at
I'll
the end
be
of the
your
day. We'll
first
never go away
customer
from it.
whenever I get employees. So or I don't. It's just me, but yeah,
It's awesome.
that's really cool.
I love it. I remember last year we visited you guys one day, and I think it was Dan, the one that was, or no, you were going out. You guys have this activity sometime in the summer that you take all the girls out
Yes.
to a business that they choose, right? And then another time Dan gets to take the boys out. And I just like highlighting that because that just shows how you care about your stuff. It's really important, you know, to like highlight that.
Build camaraderie.
Yeah, like how important it is for you to also have the time to hang out with your employees at a different setting and reward them also for the job that they are doing. Because let's be honest, they are so far away in the woods. You know, I'm sure they kind of crave the social time and having the opportunity to be in town or like just go to a different setting.
For sure.
Right? So that's just really cool.
Yeah, you have to like create your own fun in the
Yeah.
woods, and it is a very like we are super isolated, so it does get to be like a very tight knit community.
Yeah.
But it is important to like get to know people, and,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
care about them. But we eat 2 meals a day together every day, and that's part of it too.
Nice.
But then we have things we call festive dinner, because often when we're eating, the Sawbill's open, right? So we're eating lunch all together, but somebody's working, and so we have to sort of take shifts and turns, so we're not all together all the time. So a couple times a month, we have a festive dinner where we eat dinner after we close, which is always very late. It's getting harder for me as I get a little older and have little kids, but it's at like 9:30 or 10 p.m. And it's usually a theme, and people dress up, and like
That's a great idea.
it's really fun. Yeah,
Because how many employees do you have typically?
give or take, we have about 12 seasonal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are a lot of them return or some, like, is it a mix of new each season?
Yeah,
and
it is a
return?
little bit of a mix every year. It kind of goes in cycles, but we do almost always. I think only once have we had a complete turnover. That was before Dan and I took over. But yeah, so there's usually about like 60-40 maybe, like returners and new people. Just depends on the year. So
And just for context for anyone who maybe hasn't been to Sawbill, you're about 45 minutes to an hour from town, more?
it's a solid hour from Grand Marais.
Yeah.
So you turn up the Sawbill Trail in Tofty. And the Sawbill Trail is different than the Gunflint Trail. And that's,
Yes.
it's all like state and federal land. So there's like no cabins, there's no businesses,
And
there's
gravel.
no restaurants.
Gravel road.
Gravel,
Half
too.
of it's gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it actually got paved in 2016. The first half of it used to be 24 miles of gravel. Now it's
a
just
lot.
12.
Yeah.
It feels very fancy.
Yeah.
So something that I would like to ask you is, I'm curious because, you know, I get to raise my children in Grand Marais. We are 5 minutes away from the library and the pool and
School.
the shops and the school. What does it look like for you to raise children up there, whether that is during your busy season or
In the
during
summer.
the slow months?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
how does it feel? What does what do your children do when you're busy? You know, with the business.
Yeah, so it's great. I mean, I grew up there, so it's maybe I'm like a little biased. My brother and I did, but in the summertime, they don't go to any summer camps. They don't do.
They kind of live at one.
Well, right, they do. And like, I don't frankly have time to like drive them to town
Yeah.
or even drive them to a camp, whatever. And so anyway, they just kind of hang out all day, every day.
Yeah.
And so it looks different every year. They're so little. I mean, they're 10 and 7 now. That every summer has been really different,
Yeah.
right? Like when they were toddlers, and babies, we really had to like, you know, Dan and I couldn't really be working at the same time.
Right.
We just had to like stagger our schedules. As they get older now, we can. And
It's
sometimes
easier.
we leave a note because our house is just, you know, a stone's throw from
right
our
there.
outfitting building. And so we'll leave a note on the kitchen table that says like, hey, we're at work. Get yourself some breakfast and come on over, which
Yeah.
is a whole new world. It's great.
Yeah.
But then they just kind of pal around all day, and they get to hang out with our staff, which is really cool. So they
What
get
a
to
fun,
know
magical
people.
childhood.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
growing up in the woods on an outfitter, like,
And
on
it's
the
a
lake.
great excuse for me to, I would be really tempted to just literally work like 14 hours a day, 7
Yeah.
days a week if I didn't have them there. But because they were there, I do have to say, like, I'm going to go for a paddle for an hour with my kids, or we're going to go pick blueberries, or we're going to go for a swim, or we're going to go walk the dog, or a bike ride, whatever.
Yeah.
And I have to step away and like take those breaks.
It's a good
which
balance.
is super beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
otherwise I would just be like really
the
locked in
zone.
all the time, and that's not good for anybody.
Yeah.
So it's actually really nice to have that, like, quote unquote excuse to be
Yeah.
like, I have to
Yeah.
take a break. I have to do something now. And Dan does that too. And
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Being
What's it?
intentional.
Right.
Yeah.
What's it like in the winter?
It's great. There's no
'Cause
one there.
No one's there. But
We close, yeah.
school is an hour away.
Yeah.
We get snowstorms.
You are on gravel road.
Yeah. People often ask us
Yeah.
like why we don't homeschool, where they're like, I
Yeah.
can't believe you don't homeschool. I'm like, do you know how weird we would be if we like never left the woods and we were just alone all
the
winter?
time.
Like there's no one else up there. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like, well, we would be odd ducks. So like we have to leave.
Yeah.
No, but like, and if they were gonna do any sort of like activities or sports or after school clubs, like they might as well be those are all in town, so
Yeah.
we are in town anyway for school and things. But yeah, we just have a lot of car time. My kids are really good at
Yeah.
being in the car. It's an hour.
They're good readers.
Yeah, there's
from
good
what I have
car
seen.
activities.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
listen to a lot of audiobooks in the car, and they're just really good at it. And there's no cell service on the Sawbill Trail, so we can't have devices or anything. It's not an option.
Kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good debrief time. Like sometimes we talk about their day, sometimes they sleep, sometimes we just like eat snacks or listen to books but it's a good entry, like in the morning, it's kind of the hustle and bustle of getting out the door and you're like stressed and you're like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
it's nice to have that hour-long car ride then to just like decompress. They
Right.
can walk into school calmly. And same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes kids come out the school day real hangry or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like we
Yeah.
have that car ride to like
I was gonna say you must have
decompress.
like the best snack game in town. Like if
just a
you
lot of
you
snacks,
prepare
yeah.
the snacks for the car ride. Yeah.
Yeah, oftentimes, yeah. So it's great. And then so in the winter there's really nobody up there, and except for us, and we have one full-time year-round employee who lives up there also.
Oh sure.
And then some people come up in like winter camp and things like that. But otherwise, it's nice because it's so cyclical. We're so busy all summer, and there's so many people around, and I'm just constantly
On.
talking
Yeah.
to people all the time. That by the time October rolls around, I'm like ready to be a hermit.
Yep.
And then by the time May rolls around, I'm like, I need people.
Yeah.
I need interaction.
Yeah.
And so you get those nice breaks, and I really value both. And
Yeah.
it's great.
I think we all feel that
I was
here.
gonna
It's a very
say,
unique part of Cook County is the seasonality of it's tourist season, now it's not. And
Yeah.
we're crazy busy, now we're not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really nice.
And I get to walk into the Boundary Waters. It's like right outside my door. And in the wintertime, it feels like it's just for us. You know,
Yeah.
like there's nobody else there. And it's just like a whole other experience of this place that so many people love, but only get to see a little snippet of it once a
Yeah.
year when they go on a trip. And it's like I get to watch it do
Yeah.
all the different things, all the different,
Yeah.
we like are tracking animals on game cameras. And it's. So
Yeah,
it's
you
a
just
nice
posted
time.
about an otter with
Yeah.
the otter trail. That was really cool.
Yeah,
Cute.
yeah. It's super fun.
I love watching your update videos too. And I'm sure like everyone that follows you loves seeing them. So it's really special to
Yeah.
feel like you're there even if you can't be.
Yeah.
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 Amazing. So you mentioned your parents who
Yeah.
were the second generation owners of Sawbill. And while they may have retired from Sawbill, they didn't fully retire.
No.
You can actually, folks can still see them in town, Bill and Cindy.
Yeah.
Cindy is working at the North House Folk School store.
Yep.
And Bill is the captain of the Hjortis, the beautiful ship with the red, excuse me, I shouldn't say ship, schooner.
Schooner. Yep.
With the red sails that you'll see almost daily. Well, pretty much
It's
daily.
in like every picture of Grand Marais ever.
Yeah.
It's that one.
It's in some of my pictures too.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful schooner, and he gets to captain it, right? Like
Yeah.
every day of the summer.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
out there all the time. He
Yeah.
loves it.
So if
Yeah,
you want to
it's
see
great.
Bill or Cindy, they're at the folk school. You can go say hi to them.
Yeah. It's lovely. It's really nice, obviously, to have them so close by. They help with our kids a lot. They live right across the street from the school.
Yeah.
Which is super helpful. But they also, when they retired from Sawbill, gave Dan and I a huge gift in that they just like totally trusted us. I mean, they moved into Grand Marais. They left. We only overlapped for one season. And then they sold it to us like 100%, and they left, and they do not micromanage. They don't inquire. They don't show up and say like, oh, you're doing it that way, or like whatever, like they're
Yeah.
just like,
Hard.
it's crazy. I mean, it's like, I don't know, sometimes my dad has like too much faith in us. He's telling everybody like, she runs it better than I did. And I'm like,
Aw.
oh, you don't have to say that. But it's
That's
been a really
wonderful.
nice gift
So
to give
sweet.
us the space and
Yeah.
the opportunity to make it our own and not ever doubt. I mean, I'm sure they do in their heart of hearts doubt some of the things that we've done sometimes, but they would never say it out loud. And that's been lovely. And of course, they're available for me to like call and bounce things off of them or
Yeah.
ask questions. A lot of it is like historical things, where I'm like, where was that old shed or path
Yeah.
or whatever. But
But what a
been
vote
great. It's
of
been
what a
great.
vote of confidence, like
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
parents to just say, "You've got this."
Yeah, which I think must be so hard now that I've run it for 10 years. It's like I feel, you know, you just it's all consuming. It's all
Yeah.
day, every day. It's your whole entire life. And someplace
Yeah.
like Sawbill, it's just such a big legacy. It's so much bigger than just a business, right? Like it's
Right.
so important to so many people, whether it's visitors or people who've worked there, and it
Yeah.
just has this culture around it that is way bigger than us. And for them to just sort of like hand that off and like walk away and not try to hang on to little bits or
Yeah.
keep influencing or have some sort of control over it is like, you know, that was a great gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about influence, you are the third generation at
Yeah.
Sawbill. And in the book She Does, you shared your quote that is actually your grandma's quote. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about that for those who haven't read the book yet?
Yes. So my grandma is Mary Alice Hansen, and she and my grandfather Frank co-founded Sawbill together. And something that she used to say, I think, to us as kids growing up, but it applies in lots of scenarios, was she would say, like, why be difficult when with just a little bit more effort you could be completely impossible? I
love that.
Sure enough, yeah, I could just try a little bit harder, and you know, yeah, that's great, and that kind of sums up like how she was too. You know, I mean, she
sounds
started
spunky.
this business, yeah, in like a very male-dominated industry, like at a time when that in the 50s when that wasn't really a thing that women were doing, and they always ran it as equals.
Yeah.
And so
amazing.
did my parents, and so do Dan and I. So
wonderful.
even though the men often get a lot of the like.
The credit
Remember,
or
yeah, people ask a lot. They come in and they're like, "Oh, I remember your grandpa and I remember your dad," and they often don't
Yeah.
remember the women that were running it too.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, well,
They're
I
equal
don't know
part.
why."
Yeah.
yeah,
I love what you said too. So also in the book, if anyone's seen your pages, you have this beautiful, colorful dress on, and it's so vibrant and it stands out. And you made a great comment about how you like to wear dresses usually.
yeah.
You know, and I was just like, well, yeah, why not?
You can be girly and you can like camping. Yeah, you can do both of those things. You can carry a canoe in
Yeah.
strappy little sandals.
Yeah.
And
you
yeah.
said a funny quote in the book about zip off pants are the great equalizer.
yes. Everybody looks the same in zip-off pants. I don't care who you are. You could be like a felon
Yeah.
or you could be like a U.S. senator.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've had both come into our store at some point, but can't tell. Everybody looks the same in their goofy camping clothes.
I love it. The other thing that stood out to me too, you had just so many great quotes in the book, but your actual "She Does" quote, and if anyone's watched our social media posts, that quote is in there where you said, "She does," because it never occurred to her not to, and I just think that's so powerful.
So empowering, yeah.
So that comes from Gene Riken, who there was a lodge up at Sawbill
Yeah.
before the Outfitter, and that ran for a long time, like pre-wilderness, Boundary Waters, all this. And so it was started by Gene Riken, and she, talk about the 50s being a hard time for a woman to start a business. She did it decades before then and built this lodge from scratch. And I mean, she lived up there in a tent, and they literally cut down the trees and like built the lodge from the ground up. And then she was a great mentor to my grandparents and then later my dad when he was living up there in his 20s.
Yeah.
And he asked her once, because there were so many, I mean, you can imagine the Sawbill Trail was like a dirt path. It took, I mean, we think an hour to Grand Marais now is hard for me.
Yeah.
Like, no way. It was totally different. You know, it was
Right.
so hard back then. And my dad asked her once, he said, why did you keep going
Yeah.
and build this amazing, beautiful lodge and all these things that are now gone? But he said, why, how did you keep going? And when it was so hard and so difficult, you picked this super remote place. And
Yeah.
why did you do that when you could have done something so much easier? And she goes, oh, it just never occurred to me not to.
Aw.
You know, and it was like,
Wow.
yeah, well, should I not have? You know, like,
Yeah.
I should.
Heck yeah.
Why not?
Why not? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Talking about She Does, I would like to talk about self-doubting. I'm sure there are many women that, like us, wake up in, the middle of the night and we start like having this thoughts, these questions. If somebody were to be listening to you, thinking about, like around 2 a.m., what is the one thing you think they could take away from this?
Yeah, I think having worked for a little while in the legal field, which is still a pretty male-dominated industry, and especially in a state like Montana, it's still pretty dominated by men. And then coming into the outdoor industry and the outfitting world in that field, which again is like very like sportsman oriented, still a very male-dominated industry. So having said that, having worked in a lot of male-dominated industries, women should just not have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, men don't.
Fact.
Men don't have it.
Yes.
I've worked with a lot of men, and
They don't wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning.
No.
And have the thoughts and feelings that we have.
no,
Yeah.
and you find yourself in those rooms. It's like, there's like a Barack Obama quote where he talks about like, working his way up through the political steps. And he's like, man, you get to these higher echelons with these really big, important people. And you kind of realize, I think he said something like, you realize like they just folk. And it's like everybody's out here we're all just people.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly special or different or whatever about these, people in these industries are doing these things.
Right.
And you have worked hard and you know what you're doing. And there's something about our culture that is constantly asking women about their self-doubt, which
Yeah.
I think then makes you think like, oh, I should be doubting myself. And you hear
No,
like
you
women
should
like
not.
Ilona Mar who comes out and she's like, no, man, I worked really hard. And
Yeah.
I actually like deserve to be here because I worked hard to be here
Yeah.
and I know what I'm doing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And so you just don't you don't have to have imposter syndrome. You don't have to have that.
Yeah.
You can just say like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny that you say that because my husband said something the other night and I said, yeah, I did. And he's like, oh, wow. Like, kind of like, don't be so full of yourself. And I was like, no, I am proud that I did this. And I don't need to shy away from that.
What, like it's hard?
It's not ego to be proud.
Right.
And I think I caught him off guard and he really thought like, yeah, you're right. Like, So to your point, like none of us should have to feel like we need to doubt ourselves or we need to shy away from being proud or praise or,
Yeah, and that's not to say that it's not like it's normal to feel those feelings of self-doubt, but you don't need to like continue down that path, right?
Yeah.
Like you can feel that sort of self-doubt
Yeah.
and be like, okay, I've
And then-
acknowledged that
then
feeling,
squash
like,
it.
and now moving on, like
Yeah.
moving on. I can think about all the things like, what am I going to do next and what am I going to do about that? And you don't
Yeah.
need to like dwell in it and live in that space. And there's something too about like women should be humble and we should be sort of like, well, I just never know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. It's like,
No.
no, I actually kind of do know what I'm
Yeah.
doing in this sphere. I don't always know what I'm doing, but like
Yeah.
in the outfitting world, like I'm
Right.
like, this is my
your
this
stuff.
is my lane. Like when
Yeah.
I'm in my lane, it's okay to be confident about what you're doing.
Yes.
And I'm like pretty cognizant of when I step out of my lane to say like, I don't know anything
Yeah.
about this other thing over here. But when I'm in my lane, like
Yeah.
I am going to own that space.
Yeah, that's spot on. I think we all have every right to be confident.
Yeah.
And period.
Yeah.
End of sentence.
Yeah.
I too, I can appreciate your background and experience in the male-dominated industry. I came from corporate in the agriculture space, which is equally very male-dominated. And so coming here, I think that's kind of part of the emphasis of She Does, like seeing all these amazing women doing amazing things. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to like highlight this. How do we do this? And so I'm so proud that we've started this, that you're a part of this. And we also have other canoe outfitters who are women in this male-dominated industry. Cassidy Ritter at Voyager Canoe Outfitters and Ashley Bredemus at Birchwood Wilderness Camp. So I'm just so proud of all of you. And go us.
And it's so great to do because there's such a long history of women
Yeah.
doing those things. Like, there's the famous ones like the Justine Kerfoots and
Right.
the Root Beer Ladies and whatever. But then there's like the Jean Rikens and
Yeah.
the Mary Alice Hansens that people don't know about. But we've actually been
Yeah.
in this space and doing this work for
Generations.
a really long time.
Yeah.
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 And
So,
we need that recognition.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yes, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Claire, for
Yes.
joining us today. It's been wonderful to have you and learn more about you. And thank you, everyone over there, for tuning in on another podcast of She Does. Laura Moose here.
And Gina Joyce,
See you on the next one.
take care.